Good morning. All right, I'm feeling a little better. Still a bit tired, but I kind of want to get back to this project this week so I can work on the data updates and then look at this stuff from my most recent day of playing. So that's essentially going to be in fetch. Well, I also have to look at how I've currently got my family tree organized. No, not you. Family tree.ruby, which is running the Boots family. Whereas I want I have to do something else with this process. Is this from 2? No, this is all of mine, like ever. Oh no, this is the... Actually, end, begin. This is last week's, but we don't have the data set up. So for the indexes, path index. No, this is second step. No, fetch file. Wait, do I catch those? Oh no, fetch file is a helper, which checks to see if it exists. But I still need to do this, and to write out the cache. So fetch file, the server directory is 1 per server. You should probably refresh that every once in a while. You have the index files, and then the individual cache files should not change that often. So for the index files, actually I could probably just go fetch these. And we'll have to see here. Yep. That's right. This doesn't by default do system clipboard. So this is definitely listing a file date here. And we had the initial data dump. And then, It's interesting that, like, the last several days have all been updated recently. I guess it kind of goes back a little bit to make sure it's updating any files that might have a family tree there. But these are logs, so it really shouldn't. Anyway. only getting the files that have recent dates should be fine. My question on this, and well, actually, they should be smaller early on. I need to reload this. Can I get a date out of this? No, just response headers, last modified. Yeah, so if I figured out how to get last modified, well, I have to fetch at least the head. Now, the extract path list. Right now I'm just getting the anchors from these. But these indexes actually have dates. And this will say that it's all updated. All right, so we've got a local cache of these. So we start out. So we get this, well, server directory doesn't update. We've got the local cache of it. So extract path. So right now we're just dealing with paths. So doing fetch really shouldn't do anything right now. And what we want to do ooh, is there sufficient structure here to put these together? Ooh. Am I missing like a BR here or something? Or is this some kind of... No, there's no style. Oh, it's pre. Wait, it's pre-formatted, but it has links. I guess I thought formatting got into round links. So that's actually not going to be... you know what? I've got these as local files. Okay. So this... Wow, I'd almost be better off doing this as lines than as documents. Now this is going to show up as like the next text node. So maybe... And unfortunately, they're... Their tutorials are not very good for the kinds of things I'm trying to do. XML test. Well, this at least gets me into documentation. So I don't necessarily, not sure I necessarily want XML. Let's a child of it. Maybe the interactive parser would actually be better for that. HTML parse. We need some kind of node, right? I mean, maybe it is XML, but... Yeah, we've got attrs, we've got elements. Move through your tree. So next and previous. Extract path list. Let's just make sure we're not doing more than we need to here. Actually, server list is kind of what we... Server directory, fetch the file, extract path list, yeah. And we've got a node. So p node.next. Ruby lib element A text rn. That's not what it looked like to me. In the document. Wait. A. What? Oh. No. Oh, maybe early on. Yeah, the dot line is. But for other ones, there is an actual date in here. Which we need to figure out how to strip out. Because it's just text. And then see if Ruby will just parse the date. So actually, we do still want to select this. We might be recording different information. So node.next dot Node.next dot. It's a node thing, right? Content. Nope. Oh. Oh. Well, maybe text is the right thing then. Okay, well, I mean, content works too. So we can strip leading space. We can actually, if we drop the last 3 characters and then strip all space. Yeah, core works. Is there like a the last character removed? There is no argument, however. Strip. Okay, well that... Yeah, thank you. White space removed. Yeah, leading white space. So after I get rid of that dash, we can do that. I guess I could strip it, drop 1. So R strip, drop. Is there just a straight up strip? So if we take this, so I was just grabbing info, but really we can just start to do that. So content, I guess we could just do strip. Strip.chop.strip. Strip. Strip. And then we still want to print what we're getting. Oop. Strip. Oh, I was just... Sometimes you just look at a word and you see it wrong. All right, so now the question is... what is it going to be, like date.pars? Oh, date is all standard library, actually. What I actually wanted was the class. Nope, so we actually want Ruby standlib. I think we're 4.1, but... and this actually is a date time, isn't it? Yeah, I just wanted to throw it at, so does date not have... Date time has pars, and the time might matter. I mean, really, date is kind of sufficient. You know what? Actually, I do want to compare these. So we took in 22nd Honest, 830, 822. Well, okay, so this is not the most user-friendly thing, but... Oh, because I did date. Okay. $8.30. Now that's in UTC. Time zone is unspecified. He might be in California. So it might be that his servers run in that time zone. I'm not really sure I have any information on that. Well, so, I would have to get a fresh copy of a log. Well, actually, any of these logs would have... Well, no, because the problem is... Like, the last couple of days are updated at this time. So we don't necessarily get... Well, the most recent one. Let's choose a smaller server. So this should be the most recent one. It supposedly ran at this time. Oh. But there was zero activity. And there was 0 names. Interesting. Oh, there's still very, very little activity, though. So these are time... Well, there might not be enough activity to get a precision on this. So Wednesday... Our last timestamp was here. So now... Wait. Is this... Yeah, there's something bugged with Windows shells that don't actually do feedback. And it's sort of serviceable. It's not great. So what would I take for a Unix timestamp? Year at. Oh, this is going to search all the data files. I should put this in lib. Okay. Why? Would you do that? All right, so this is... So we wrote the logs at 8:30, wherever. 8:29 minus 5. So this is in... Interesting. But this is up to 3 o'clock, wherever it was. And then it wrote them out half an hour later. So there might be like one thing that catches it, and then half an hour later it copies it. And that would actually be... So if this is 3 a.m. in the minus 5 time zone where I am, then yes, this is probably UTC. And then the file copy is happening half an hour later than the file creation. However, the file system references I get from my system might be different time zones. I'd have to deal with that. All right. So datetime.parse, I forgot what this gave us. That gave us that time in UTC, which hopefully dates we can figure out. All right, so path list is now we need a file and a date. Let's make things a little bit more interesting. And then we use this twice, right? Yeah, so that'll make things a little bit more interesting. So date time dot parse, all that stuff. And then we're going to make a list of I think, yeah, there's a syntax to then break into that later anyway. So server list will get us the list of, well, we don't really care about the dates for this one. Server list that each do path date, and we don't really care about this one. Well, no, I would care about it for multiple runs. So make sure that exists, then we fetch file, and here's where we want date. Date equals, I guess if it's a date time, I presume there's a date time dot like now or something? Oh no, this is going to end up being the date of the file. Of the file we are providing. And we want to use the cache if possible. So as much as I hate to deal with nils, and then what we want to do, all right, so that gets that in there. This is going to be log date. Ooh. One moment. Sounds like it might be fixing to rain here. Okay. All right, so it's got a log date. the log date. And then now we get into, is file core or lib? File stat, file test. Access time changed. That was the directory information, not the file itself. Actually, is that M time then? Modification. It's a time object. Well, time does have a date. And hopefully they're comparable anyway. So if file exists, and I don't know what it would do for not existing. If file.exist and file.mtime cache path. All right, so the way this has to go is we want if the modified, and date is nil, or I mean, I kind of just want to do like time.at0, and then it always exists. And we say the modified time of the file. So this is the time that we got from the server, presumably, if date is greater than, is older than date. No, because we're saying when we want to return the cache. So yeah, actually, and the date of the new, and the server date is older than when we wrote it. Then we return the cache. Else and I had disabled some things. Date time with time. Thanks, Ruby. So this returns a time. Well, I've got a time here and a time here. So date time does the parsing. Okay, I see. Okay, we cached. That was a little bit too fast. Did we fetch anything? Well, we know that we're caching some things. Oh. No, I messed something up here. I should pretty much never cache this. Because this is our default case. Oh, yeah, because date less than. Well, oh, I wanted it to default that, but now I've actually got those dates in most things. I want it to cache if it exists by default. So actually what we do is we explicitly pacify or pass that. Okay, we're caching a bunch of things, fetching a few things that are recent dates. Caching a bunch of things. And actually a lot of these other servers tend to have pretty small logs anyway. All right, so we can get rid of our debugging stuff. And I want to check. Okay, so really, what we should be doing here is get add lib fetch. Hit commit -m. Use index dates to fetch updated data files. And then we see if, I think I may have spotted an issue here. Yep, commented that out because it doesn't like that. So now Ruby lib, nope. Oh, that's right, we need to do, because this actually involves some stuff. -ilib. And I've forgotten exactly what all of this stuff was. But this looks like a focus set of 0. Failed to build logical structures. Yeah, that was a focus set of 0. So I need to figure out, I probably left some stuff out. So date today, 2 times 2i. Oh, I was on server 7 for doing the boot stuff. I need to work that out at some point. Boots family, yeah. Or as for this, I expect I'm primarily playing on server 1. Although there was that abandoned town the other day, so that's actually a lot more lives than I expected. I wonder if my date filter is off. Yeah, okay, 3rd generation. Let's blow this up. So I was just a person. You know, I think one of the lives I ended up farming some stuff and I thought everyone had died out. Oh, yeah, this family died out. This is another family over here that was quite large. Eve Shin. Where the heck was I in the Shin family? Possibly this one? Madison Winter. No, yeah, that's a different Eve. Oh man, I was way down here. Yeah, I didn't have a big impact in that one. The family did well, but that was quite the family. All right, and then Eve Winter. Oh, I died young, and that was the end of the line. I was a woman too. Well, this place must have been starving out. So then we have Annie of the Sam family. Yeah, just a kid. Oh. Oh. My cursed mom. Was in the same family as this one. Interesting. So wherever I was here was where she got, like, exiled from. And I could possibly turn back on some murder stuff to see if there's any relation there. And then I managed to survive a bit here, and this one made it a few more generations. So hunger, 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 hunger. Yeah, I guess the town wasn't actually that great of a location. And then we had the Eve into the town. Or to the pre-existing town. Oh, we had some murder going on. And a few kids survived. Yeah, so this is what you don't necessarily get from the built-in family tree. Just like how, how wide, which branches survived. We had a couple that did okay. Unfortunately, okay. Yeah, I do have. I might not have out of family murders on because it wasn't working in the one graph. And then man, I was somewhere way down this street. Yeah. Oh, I was. Oh. I knew this place was kind of dying out, or my area was dying out, but I figured the rest of the family was going somewhere. Maybe there was more than one family, though. Alright, so that's not anything terribly interesting there. I did think I turned some stuff off. In graph? Was that on purpose? Making sure parent had a label? Well, problem is if we process our node, we should be doing that. This would add a second label to it, wouldn't it? Okay, so we do have all the color lines on. So I rearranged that a little bit. Okay, so it was kind of, oh wait, that was how it saved. Wait, which line? Oh, I had saved it without the killer line before. Okay. It feels like... Yeah. Code for boots. So there's a couple of places to go right now. I had notes. Yeah, search methods. Haven't really resolved IDs or multiple servers. I think that this covers most of the lives I was thinking about here. Process multiple servers if you want to be searching for stuff. I think I've done that. One of the things I was looking at is color code by player, which I think could be especially interesting in the boots graph. So I need better ways to do... no, that's the graph. I need better ways to switch between all these graphs. So I need some stuff for load log, load name, load dir. I call this utility stuff. And then we should probably be kind of pulling out some of these other things as like separate files that create specific graphs. So we've got like life log that is like the sort of core parsing of those things. I guess name log got a little longer too. Well, no, name log was small. Life is a very crude way to put together life logs. Maybe those don't need to be separate. Although, loading a log and load names would that be better? As utility functions in like life log? Maybe? I mean, it's not a pure code module, but we could have that'd be like a class method. I think for my purposes right now, that's okay. I might want to rethink about refactoring that later. And then load names. And I guess the awkward thing is that where do you put load dir? Life, maybe, because that ends up getting the name. And then add family. So this is sort of a utility function. Wait, is target cursor equals target? So actually ancestors could be a life method. Basic attributes. So it targets a particular person. So instead of a target, now add family. Well, it has a target again. I almost think I should have like a life collection of some sort. Because so many of these things deal with collections. Well, I mean, maybe life collection of some sort. And then it would load all the lives and find ancestors among all the lives. It's loading a log into the lives. Loading name logs into the lives. What if we did it as history? Well, the nice thing about lives is that it is just a straight up array. Okay, it's a dict, but well, we do keys and values. That would be pretty easy to work around. Class history. So these would have to be instance methods. I guess lives would be the internal thing. Oh, actually, there's a very specific. Oh my gosh, why? Family tree that I was using for this. Go away. I know it's in process right now. Shut up. And maybe life should move here? I don't know. Enter for now. Because that makes all this stuff just work. And then we also had name. Go away. I know it's not right yet. It's called refactoring. And then you ended up with loader, which is kind of... If anything, that could almost be your constructor. Oh, so these are not self anymore. And then these name both a particular person and a set of lives. So it's kind of a toss-up which place it goes. Now, lineage is an array, not another hash, so it's not a history. Add family to what? Return focus. So focus should really be another history. And then we can define... is it just operator? We would actually need both. Oh, value. Because then we can say that. There's a whole bunch of methods that we really like to have. To make that kind of work. We do have access to lives.values here. All right, and family tree was dealing with this. This would be a history. And this would be a lives.loader. I guess add family is not the greatest name here. Don't really need that. There's a focus here. Wait, what do I do with... Focus.merge is what happened there. Okay. Which means you have to support that operation. Oh. Yeah, add family is a misnomer. Live. Oh, these are all add family. I guess what we really want is not add family, because we're not adding it. Just family of target. All right, lives. Lives.values. 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 What is it? Which allows us to just do that. Now, ancestors got moved into there. And we will check the current one. Initialize constant history. Load log. Oh. Load names, probably. Oh, load names, load log. Okay. Aha. History 93. Focus.include. We went ahead and made focus another history. History into hash. Oh. Right, because I'm making this into doing focus. So I'm currently exposing that method. As a bridge method, or yeah, a way to bridge forward into the world. This is history is a thing. Values. Oh, Graph was assuming this is a life collection as well, which might not be unreasonable for this. Lives.values, lives.include. I'm not sure it's ever going to have... Well, what are we doing with values? Values.each. That's really it. Nope. And we could probably try to be smarter about which files we load. I mean, if we're going back, right now we're only going back 8 days, so really a few days beyond that, because I haven't changed the code. Oh, but this does imply it supports the same methods as a hash of lives. It's that we actually have to assume it's an eachable thing that returns exactly that. All right, so we should get the same graph out of that. All right, so that's one step. Remove all that code from there. Extract history loading and some relative searching. So right now we've got this just family tree. And I kind of do a haphazard reuse of stuff, but it's mostly... I mean, maybe I can reuse some things here. But more, what I want to do is kind of turn these into individual little projects. So... I don't know that these would be lib. And I kind of just been putting code there for now. And I might have actually removed some of the code needed date, I'm not sure. So for the Boots family, we want this. I don't remember if I was using these. Not using that. That might be it. That's for me. That's for me. So it is a focus merge. Focus not equal lives. Boots.gv. Oop. I actually need to take this and make it. We'll eventually want to do that, yes, but we actually wanted the Ruby line. Thank you. All right, now that is a different file now. Okay. And actually, interestingly enough, I left the killer thing unmodified here, and it actually rendered. So now we go back to family tree. We take all the boot stuff out. And I should probably do this step by step so that I have a fallback. You know what? I should probably... Maybe I'll have samples, but I can add those specifically. Extract boots graph to own file. And I might eventually have some sort of way to do more generic stuff. And I'm sort of cutting myself off from that. But right now I just want these as very specific exercises. So right now what we've got is one that is my lives from the past week. So yeah, from whatever server, load that. This is more for narrowing. And as things are currently written, that is going to be specifically that. But I'd like to generalize this at some point to somehow parameterize the player ID. This is a little bit noisy, I guess. Okay, that's pretty much what we expected. And then we take this out of family tree. The other family tree. So still gonna be server 1, somebody that, somebody that. I had multiple things. Did I like pull this out and copy it to... Oh, this was like all of my lives, which ended up being way too much. And then this had the date filter on it. So that just pulls out all that stuff. Get status, get add. Extract. Lives from past week. Alright, so what else do we have here? I almost need to rearrange these to work so I know what we need. Well, if I copy it, I can start doing that. So we've got a larger family, small named family. And then we've got this one particular family that we were trying to find. I guess it'd just be... Okay, I shouldn't need that. You might have been in that set. So you're not going to be that. That was anybody named Lily, which is way too much. Oh, so I've lost the code that says find a target player, I think. We'll do that eventually. We wanted the Ruby line that named the previous file. Thank you. This is why I should probably use a separate console for this. Okay, it was not in that particular day. Those are probably where the target families are. Right, because we had a time period to search here. And there was that one particular family. No, what I think I could do to here is if we found that life, life dot. Oh. Man, I was right at the end of the west line. Interesting. One of my kids, well, they were all boys, but one of them actually did live to old age. Alright, so family tree. Man, where did the target stuff even come in? Oh, just focus equals. Okay. So those will be very small files. Yeah, so this was all Lily at this point. And then these might be within the single files. These are just modified. Extract. Lily example. So now we take you, and we have because sometimes you just need those focused examples. And we want to see if maybe these are in the single data set for fast iteration. Ruby. What? How does a tiny little file like this have an error? Maybe you just need to restart. Maybe that's what the problem is. And I kept thinking I was having these issues, and it's just a bug in the program. Yep, it's just a bug in the program. Good to know. Small named family. Extract small named family example. All right, family tree. Edit. Small family. Were they possibly from earlier in history? Yeah, that might be. All right, with the Ruby. Okay. That one worked out well. So we can lose small family from here, and we don't need you. Extract small family example. Edit larger family.ruby. So it's definitely not here. It might still be this. Oh, this is actually two. I think one of these is progenitor and one is a member of the family. Okay, so that was just something that we picked out. I don't know if it was a random or if I had a character in here somewhere. And family tree is completely gone. Extract larger family example. Oh. All right, now would be a good time for a break. So this makes it's better than modifying a single file all the time. So these are related. We need a general search method that could make it more useful by a person, but this is fine for my purposes for now. I think I might want to try color code by player to see just how many people were working on that Boots family. I'll be back in a few minutes. Oh, she has 2 knives, wow. Oh. Oh, too slow. Yeah, can't take any of my stuff off. That was rude. It's like, this is the second time I've been killed by my mother. What?
Okay, not yet. So we don't need this option phase. Because the AI scripts themselves will handle all that. So we don't need any buttons. Or the mouse. Still need this.
But I like, I'm the kind of person who likes to max out stats. Okay, so I must not have assigned that one before, and this I messed up on. Okay, oh, we're not at full speed. There we go. I've got the
Sorry, new baby. We have Max, baby.
That I like.
All right.
I'm the kind of person.
Welcome back. So I had this idea that since player IDs are partly hex codes, now I have to make sure that this all works. Graphviz. Documentation. Attributes. Graphics, not text. There was something up here about types. 2x, 2x, 2x. Yeah, so if we just grab the first 6 characters of the player ID and stick a pound on it, we ought to get something that's recognizably a custom color. Else, GS. What did I call that attribute? That would be in the my past week. It is checking for hash. Color life.hash. Well, you can do. Now, is it. So, given. Do we want 0 to 5? Yes. Oh, you know what? Hash is actually the character here. And maybe interpolation is too much here. All right, so, oh. So we had most recently run, well, this should be large enough to be interesting. And it's probably still up. Yeah, so it's actually pretty hard to pick out with these tiny lines. But I'd have to do something with contrasting colors. But what I do want to take a quick look at is boots. Because that's what you expect to see a few number of players repeating. Yeah, it's really hard to pick out the colors. Huh. And lots of... Yeah, they disconnect as soon as they get to 40. So like this purple has a good chance of being the same person. But yeah, that's just too hard to read. Well, I might be able to bump up the line thickness, and then I wouldn't have to worry about contrasting color. Pen width. Draw lines and curves, boundary of edges. Or a style specification. So pen width. So this is actually we'd want to be a graph attribute. No, actually, we want to do this specifically for nodes. I don't know what these units are. Oh. Integer 5. Okay. Maybe it is graph. Integer 5. What? Oh, this library might be old enough that it doesn't recognize that? Could that be true? It's just a double. Use a set line. So what style? Did I already do that for filled? Yeah. Set line width. Well, either that didn't work, or we need a much larger value. No, that seems to be not it. So it's definitely being passed through. So the problem we're actually having here is in the Ruby package, although that appears to be getting completely ignored. Is everything a string? I need an example of this, apparently. Graphviz.org. There's a gallery. Anything that appears to be modifying the line thickness. Not really. SVG. Width height label. Changing the size of an edge. Does it? Oh, maybe it's not a graph attribute. Yup. Well, that's a bit easier to see. So we have to unfortunately, it seems to have an embedded list of allowed attributes. Okay, it looks kind of terrible at distance. Then again, it's also makes it easier to kind of pick stuff out. But then you zoom in, you don't have to worry about contrast. Field is probably a better answer here. But yeah, you kind of think that maybe this purple is all the same player and this blue is all the same player. Tried, finally born. There's a gray, we had a green trying for a while. And then we got our blue and our gray and our sort of dark teal. Got a red person playing for a while. Then green was playing for a while. What's the purple? There's our blue. Orange playing for a while. Here's purple and blue again. Now, unfortunately, I had to, well, we know fill color works. I just have to figure out how to do contrasting text. Okay, so 288 generations or whatever is a lot. And it looks like it might have had some different people finishing it out. So that's interesting. But right now, all I've got is a string. I would need some way to do color math on that to get something that was contrasting. No, maybe we want something more like... Would it be toolbox? Terminal coloring. Set text, yeah, text. Terminal coloring. Italics, yeah. Terminal coloring. Colorize your text. Color space manipulation. Terminal. Also color space. Text, text, text. Found it close from, no, that's from an image. Compass. CSS. Conversion manipulation. I mean, that's sort of relevant. Variations on colorist. JS. Palette of colors. It's probably just a single palette. It's the threshold of color against the collection of colors. Lots of forks of colorist. Let us see. Color. Uh-oh. Well, I wasn't giving great hopes for this either. Well, here's some README at least. Okay, so there's some palette stuff. Oh, we can't get into detail though. I mean, mono contrast might be the kind of thing, but we can't... We ought to be able to... Man, it's been a while since I had to build docs myself. Could always just look at the code. Monochromatic contrasting for background and foreground. Single code is just the base palette and this is lightened 5 times and darkened 5 times. 11 distinct colors. Oh, this is too monochromatic. Maybe. Because this is just, well, I mean, lightning and brightening might work. It doesn't necessarily give you the distinctness that I wanted. But then again, if you had somebody with the perfect gray, how would you even do a contrast to that? Read an Adobe palette. Oh, okay, that's, yeah, those are... So we have background and we have foreground. How do you construct an instance of this? Foreground nil. Okay. I have a gem file. All right, graph. Require color. I presume. Oh, oh, actually, is this organized? Requires color palette. Should. So we can't only do this globally. We need to do this. If we're doing this, I might have to work a different highlight method. Oh, I might need to make this some sort of color object. Color, names. Values. Oh, okay. So color 1.4 is a module. So color RGB. Values. Mode equals RGB. Must be an array. That's no. RGB color string, which is kind of what we've got. And then color. Well, we need color. Oh, we need that then. Is it RGB? Color RGB from HTML. Yeah. Palette is color palette. Mono contrast. And color is, we might have to do some kind of 2S on this. Oops. All right, so let's pick like small family, because we're going to have lots of errors here. For -5 integer. Okay, color palette, RGB, blah, blah, blah. Mono contrast, minimum brightness, minimum color diff, background. Oh, okay. So it has this range of colors in different brightness steps. Oh, background and foreground. So we need, let's try 0 as the base. For RGB. So what does an RGB allow us to do? Hex. HTML will be close enough. All right, this is like small family. Cursor. Time to reload the program. Well, I mean that is a contrasting color, I guess. And since this is 0, it ought to be hopefully right about the same thing. So now if we go back and run boots, and I should take out these prints. All right, so yeah. We pick a color that'll show up somewhat decent. It looks like the base is white and black. But I mean it's performing some kind of valuable service. Actually, I could make these more easier to distinguish by picking the next 6 characters as the foreground color. That might get you unreadable things, though. Oh, you know what? This allows you to take multiple colors. Six to... It would be 11. You could specify a foreground color. Or was it background foreground or foreground background? Oh, it's no, it's initialize. Yeah, background foreground. So this might look terrible. Oh. It's white and black again. Oh, no, we actually got a, oh, that's in the quest for contrast. So we sometimes get a different color for something. Alright, so what if we throw out color? Just to see how terrible it would be. Yes, I know I'm not using them right now. So yeah, I mean, that might be better at distinguishing players. It also looks terrible. Yeah, I guess for the purposes of distinguishing players. Yeah, like this. Practically invisible, but you can definitely tell that's one particular person. Are there actually any similar colors that's distinguishing here? These are close-ish, you can still tell. These are pretty close. You can tell, though. Yeah, I don't think it's actually providing a whole lot of distinction, or a useful distinction in most cases. I mean, I could maybe do like... Maybe I could still do like a border color in the native color. But it's kind of terrible for the text. I've also got my gradients, so I'm not really sure. Lighter and darker. You see, for foreground and background, I'm not sure if lighter and darker really makes sense. Oh, that's very much lighter. And I don't feel like... Oh, is it? +5 is lighter, -5 is darker. No? Strangely enough, that also seemed to get lighter. Oh. I guess it went towards... Interesting. Oh, so for a lighter background, here's your contrasting color. Huh. Huh. So one thing I was thinking about, and actually, so now let's see. Just curious. Loop it all the way around. Oh, that's like full on dark. So I could actually, no, I could actually use this for the highlighting purposes. Kinda. Well, this highlights it. It doesn't necessarily give it the essence of the color. So we could say we're going to do all of this regardless. But if highlight, then we do like 3. Otherwise, we do 0. So that way the highlight system still works with this. Which I don't have in this graph, but... Wait, is this... Did I get this backwards? Yes, I got this backwards. Okay, so there's the nice colorful stuff. And then we want to try my past week, which does the highlight. And I might eventually work out a different method of highlighting that's more orthogonal, but something I could pick out. Uh-oh. Oh, so we didn't get a color from somebody. Unfortunately, it is not very helpful here. So I guess all of this stuff has to be isFlights.hash. No. Okay. What are we doing here? Why is there a backslash? Oh, there's an at. Why is there a superfluous at? Okay. Hash equals life dot hash. Dot g sub anything that is not in the character class 0 to 9 A to F. Get rid of it. Okay. Open dot. This is actually under this one. Oh, so it's like, yeah, it's this. Eve Gallivanes. I would pretty much have to go full on black to have, or full on white to have any chance of standing out here. Yeah, so unfortunately it kind of fails at this. This looks like a possible recurring player here. Also, this doesn't necessarily tell me what my color is. Well, it is highlighted. Well, I know what that is. I'm just curious. Doesn't say foreground color, but so I might have to have like some different graph modes, so to speak. Like if you're highlighting a player, maybe you want to fade everybody else, or I don't know. But if I'm doing the My Past Week, I really want to be able to quickly find myself. So apparently my natural color is purple with his hash, which, yeah, good luck picking that out. Oh, you know what? There might be other attributes we could look at. Okay. fixed size, smallest width and height needed by label image, margin. Font size, could do it. Nope. So let us, so we'll leave that alone for now and throw on font size. I think so the default was 14. Aw, for 28 integer. So does this mean we have to do a string number? That kind of works. Might want it to be even bigger though, because you can kind of see it there, you can kind of see it there. You can kind of see it there. It doesn't really jump out at you. I guess 48 would be another nice number, about twice. Okay, that stands out okay. And you can kind of pick out where there might have been some. Man, this guy was hunting for something. Maybe a woman? I don't know. Maybe just a new player. Oh, the other thing I want to do is play with can we set position by time? And we've kind of got color code by player. So, oh, and where were we? So one thing I need to check is, can you add attributes to a node? So like if I do this and then do this, do those combine? Or does it overwrite the attributes? Okay, they do combine. Excellent. I was thinking to click the formatting here. So this no longer has anything to do with that. Oh, and the other one was kind of doing something with infinite deaths. Which I was going to do like borders, but that style. We're using filled now. Player coloring. But that's just a straight up, well, pretty much everybody's got a color. So now I don't want to play with color. Well, that does, if I play with lightness, then it does kind of hide some of these things. But let's try if life dot age less than, and I think 3 is about the age where you can fend for yourself. And it mostly seems to be 0 or 1 or, I mean, there's a 4. There's a 5. But it's mostly zeros. And I mean, we could, if we wanted to get fancy, shoot, was it +5 or -5? Could mostly, I mean, I wouldn't want to do a fluid, you know, like a variable darkness based on age. Because that would start to hide the sameness of the colors. I guess I could do the same thing as before and do it smaller. Say, oh, this wasn't very much of a life. I mean, you could just do age as a size, but then I once again lose the channel for finding myself. So the color contrast is almost too good here. Because it pumps that up. Well, no, and it's usually black or white or something. Although I guess if I actually went the other direction, it would kind of cheat it. That might be too much. Well, that actually sort of works. You can sort of read it, but it's maybe not great contrast. But the people who didn't really live a life kind of start to fade out. Makes things a little bit less noisy. Just maybe did it actually make it a little bit larger? Maybe just because it feels more sparse, it feels like things spread out. I mean, conceivably, well, yeah, conceivably I had some short lives in here. Although they're not jumping out at me, and they wouldn't. Yeah, like that one made it to 5. Yeah, I don't know, straight up abandonments. Interesting. And then what does boots look like? Okay, so this hides who these players were, or the deaths rather. But it highlights the lives they were actually playing, which is kind of okay. You can kind of see this like kind of shifts turning over as people, go to sleep or whatever. This gets started to thin out a little bit towards the end. Yeah, there's 2 people passing it back and forth here. 2 people passing it back and forth here. We actually have 2 different greens here. Maybe 3 different greens. Anyway. Now one thing, I never did get around to posting this, so... Let's see if we can update these. Really? Oh, and I didn't want to add this because I keep feeling I should really move it somewhere. And then Graphviz. All right, and that's a pretty good place to wrap up. Oh, I should commit this. Fade out. Infant fatalities. All right, so that's it for now. Thanks to Diddly Tacos, Kuro Kitsune, Joey Chef, Ray Peace, Tommy S. Leopard, One Jellybean, Dog and Lake, Ned Makes Games, Ocerat Gaming, and Haskin TV for hosting me. Let me see if I can find anything to recommend. Well, Tool Effort Car is actually playing 1 Hour, One Life. Looks like he might be just getting started. If you look for someplace cool to hang out, that's someplace cool to hang out. Thanks for hanging out with me, and goodbye for now.